Good afternoon, everybody. I'm GT Hill. I work for a company called Nyanza. I can't pronounce it. Where's Anand? Nyanza. Oh, there he is. Nyanza is how I pronounce it. So very quickly, so this is, it's a little vendor-ish, but so I wanted to show you guys, here's how to remember us. So the title was Being Creepy on Your Network. Nyanza, we're really the NSA for the enterprise. Not really. That isn't us, but I thought it was funny. So we have, so what we do is we gather a bunch of data from a lot of our customers. They do this all voluntarily. We do some fun stuff on the back end to provide some services, but what we do to show you today is we take, I say we like I'm the smart guy, Anand and his team have a bunch of really smart people, and they gather this data and we do some statistics. We do this on what's called Voyance Live. So nyanza.com/Voyance Live, just one at a time, because the site could be slow. I'm kidding. But so what is it we've gathered over the last year? We, again, thank you to Keith and the WLPC crew, let Anand and I really debut our product last year. And as of this whole year, we've had some really great success, probably more than we deserve, but we're very thankful for it. Since then, we've been observing about 2.7 million client devices. So these are client devices. So what we do is say, what is interesting about those? Of all that, we've identified 840 or so billion incidents, or analyzed events. About 1.5 million incidents, which is badness. Something is happening with that client device. All we do is look at client devices. So we're not saying the AP was up or down or good or bad. We're saying what is the client device's behavior, and was it bad or good? About 1.5 million. And we've processed about 171 petabytes of data since then. So obviously quite a large number. For better or for worse, Wi-Fi represents 70% of all problems we see. So we have customers, healthcare, higher ed, large enterprise, retail. This number pretty much has stayed steady, 70%. But here's the good news. 30% isn't us. And part of what's really important is saying it's not us. Okay? It's not me, it's you. Okay? In that war room. That's important for us. By the way, radius should be uppercase. I'm having that change made right now. Sorry about that. But here's one interesting thing that I've found. ARP is the second worst protocol on all the well, not every network, but all the networks we see. ARP. How many of you in the last week have troubleshot an ARP issue? Who's that? That's because Voyance showed it to you, man. Oh. But the truth is that you guys aren't really out doing that. Nobody's doing it. And so it's been this kind of odd thing that Voyance has extracted. And I actually have a screenshot. This is a West Coast-based customer of ours with multiple sites. And it may be hard to read. That means this 80% means that 80% of the time, their routers are not responding with an ARP response. But they're intermittent. We have a lot of customers with intermittent ARP and all this kind of weird stuff. I don't want to make this an ARP discussion. But the point is, it's really interesting to extract data, and we get data that surprises us. This was that's not on. I don't know how much time I have. That was really surprising to us and to me to see that kind of data. DHCP issues. Hopefully, some of this is therapeutic for you guys. Hopefully, you guys see a slide and it's like, thank goodness, I knew that. Didn't have a way to prove it. So we look at operating system behavior. So what is an operating system? How is it behaving on the network? Is it good? Is it bad? In this case, it's just a little snippet that says iOS is about 1.5 times as bad at DHCP as the normal client device on a network. So of incidents, an incident again is some kind of failure or congestion with the protocol, 1.5 times the normal for iOS. This should also warm your heart. We break down incidents by band. 2.4 gigahertz is worse than 5 gig. Mic drop. But actually, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually thought that to be skewed a little bit, more out of favor for 2.4. Probably a little bit harder to read. This, I want you to put your analysis cap on when you look at this. This is application performance in terms of TCP retransmits. Obviously, higher TCP retransmits is badness. Dropbox, Pokemon Go, Twitter, top 3. So I started thinking about this. What makes those, what's different about those? Sorry? Endpoint hosting, okay. What I thought was Pokemon Go was actually one that we saw right away. Pokemon Go had really bad performance. But why? Because people use it outside a lot, right? Not anymore. I mean, nobody uses it anymore at all. But people use it outside. So you take a normally indoor application or indoor Wi-Fi system and people go outdoors with it, retransmits are going to go up. Now, that can be caused, it's caused by the Wi-Fi system, but TCP, obviously, it gets hurt by that if there's poor performance. Dropbox, to me, maybe, again, when I move my laptop around, I get good and bad signal, and Dropbox is always trying to work. It's always syncing. I only have 16 days left of syncing, so we're good. 87% of all clients we observed are 5 gig capable. So we've been trying to answer that question for a while. What is the actual number? 87% is it. What about the next iteration? How many clients that are 5 gig capable are DFS capable?
Is this percent of 87 or percent of total?
This is 71% of all 5 gigahertz capable devices. Yes, sir. This is all of our customers, most of which are in North America. But we're constantly expanding. Yes, this is North America, effectively, for our customer base. Access point capabilities. So we track the adoption of multi-user MIMO on the access points. We track the adoption, the current breakdown of what you see for access points. 11AC 3-stream represents over half of what we see, which is, again, we are in enough customers now after a year where that is statistically significant. That's something that's an interesting statistic to us now. Top 10 applications. So this is weekly traffic. Again, this is just for our customers. YouTube, number 1. We have a lot of higher education customers. I actually expected Netflix to be much higher than this. That was a bit surprising. So we can do here's a fun one. We can correlate a student at how much traffic they use, and we have education institutions that want to correlate that versus their academic scores. That's the kind of cool stuff. I mean, that is coming, by the way. I mean, they're not saying that in jest. They would love to see that kind of data. Creepy, right? I told you it was creepy. Incident breakdown by operating system. Windows 10, for all you Windows people out there, both of you, this is a cool statistic. Windows 10 has the least amount of errors. Roku having the most. Again, I'm kind of running out of time, but my guess was for Roku is that they get stuck in the side of a TV behind an entertainment center, that maybe they have actually a Wi-Fi issue that's driving towards an OS issue. So again, in the product, you can break that down. This is kind of generic. Last 2 slides here. So here's another cool thing the engineers did. What are the characteristics of the top performing Wi-Fi enterprise versus the characteristics of bottom performing Wi-Fi enterprises? So you see protocol used. You see a heavier usage of 11AC now in your top performing Wi-Fi networks. Channelization is never 80 megahertz, but the bottoms go to 80. It's about a 50-50 split, 20-40. So for those of you, I think Blake was talking about, what size channel you use. Here's some data to back that up, that, larger channels seem to be negative. Band used by 5 gigahertz capable devices. The top sites are band steering better. So if you look at that statistic, what that is saying is, how good is band steering working in top networks versus bottom networks? Last slide here is we also break this down. We decided to just pick one kind of vertical for now. Education is quite high for us, but you see AC versus 11N, the protocol used on the bottom versus the top. Channelization in the top enterprises is all 20 megahertz. One last anecdotal piece. We had a customer that was doing 2040s. I said, hey, you should try just 20s. This is a large university. They went to 20s, and Voyant showed a 35% improvement in end user support just by going from 2040 to 20. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow.